Is that a reason for a life to be ruined? Is that a reason for a law degree to just be put on hold, potentially never pursued? This is just to give you a quick breakdown, right? There was a white girl at UVA, okay, in July of 2020. Her name was Morgan Bettinger. Morgan Bettinger.
Yep.
And the story was that she threatened Black Lives Matter protesters, threatened to kill them, right? This person had to deal with ramifications that were incredibly severe, stalking, death threats, doxing, and the person who was the perpetrator here, very large perpetrator, Ziana Bryant, fabricated all. We know this now. And let me give you, I guess, before we get to all of the disproving evidence, let me provide you with, and by the way, hit the share button, comment, like, whatever it is if you're watching on YouTube, because they desperately don't want you to know this, just like Michael Brown. Hands up, don't shoot. That was an agreed upon lie.
Right.
The court records show it.
Yeah.
Before we get to what disproves this story, and I want you to actually pray for the real victim in this, Morgan Bettinger. I want you to pray for the real victims who were vilified wrongfully. Let's get to the only proof that was used as the catalyst for ruining this person's lives. This is the only evidence regarding this story at UVA from Ziana Bryant to become celebrity Black Lives Matter activist du jour. This was the only evidence.
She said that protesters, we would make good speed bumps.
You might be, but I don't give a about it at the end of the day.
Someone on camera says that she said they would make good speed bumps. That's the same as an admission.
It's all over.
They knew it was happening.
She said we would make good speed bumps.
I know what the she said.
That's okay?
What you gonna do? You gonna work her on? You gonna work? She got money. What you gonna push the car? What the Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, damn, some of us from the hood out here. You gonna whip her ass or you gonna whip her ass? Which one? Like, ain't nobody gonna argue.
No kidding.
Now, here's the problem. There are a few problems. On that very video, you hear threats.
Yeah.
None of them coming from Morgan Bettinger. The only example of a potential threat that you hear of are the people issuing real threats. But that was enough for real life consequences.
Yeah.
For Morgan Bettinger.
Exactly.
Let's go through the facts of this case now, because a lot of people are talking about it, but the timeline and why everything you know is wrong and how it ties into a lot of the agreed upon lies that affect you. So let's go through fast fact number 5. All right, let's just go this descending order.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for you.
Yeah.
So Bettinger, the girl in question there, was accused of threatening protesters. Okay. All the evidence you've seen right there.
That's it.
So this was 2020 during the George Floyd protests. 19-year-old Ziana Bryant accused Bettinger of threatening to run over protesters. For reference, by the way, this is Ziana Bryant. Okay. So Bryant posted a now deleted tweet based on that video saying, share/spread this, caps, trigger warning. The woman in this truck approached protesters in Charlottesville and told us that we would make, quote, good speed bumps. Mind you, a protester was killed by a man in Charlottesville during the A12 rally in 2017. Well, speed bumps don't generally require grappling hooks, okay? Bryant, again, for reference, this is Ziana Bryant. There you go. You can... Yeah.
Was she in our opening?
Speed bumps?
Oof.
That'd be a wall for crash test dummies.
Jeez.
Now, Bryant then doxed Bettinger.
Yeah.
Before we get to the ramifications of Bettinger having to deal with at school,
the hell she had to
doxed,
go through.
which is hell. This woman has been identified as Morgan Elise Bettinger, and she goes to UVA. So that's how this starts. That video, share, spread, trigger warning. The video doesn't show what I say is in there. It does show me doing some stuff. But believe what it is that I say. And the media was so desperate at this point. Remember, this is the same media. Hey, largely peaceful protests while there were flames coming out of the back of the guy's head. That's the agreed upon lie. They don't care. As long as everyone agrees upon the lie, then men can be women and women can be men, and the violent rioters can be peaceful protesters, and this girl who did nothing wrong, who was not seen on camera threatening anybody, can have her life ruined by the person who was involved with actual threats. By the way, smash the Rumble button, hit like if you're watching right now, because the algorithms don't give a Okay.
By the way, I just want to go back to this. Even if she said that,
yeah.
Even if, so let me just concede your point for a second. Have we not all wondered when going through kind of this riot season, like, how do I get out of this?
Yep, everybody
and
has
maybe
thought
it
through.
said sarcastically.
I installed a push bumper on my car.
Exactly, right? So I'm not saying that you should do that. And I understand Charlottesville, and I understand what happened at the A17 rally.
And that's only because
horrific.
a snowplow was illegal.
Right, it's horrific, but the demeanor of the person in the car was the most non-threatening person.
course.
So even if they said that, their actions didn't match it.
Yeah.
There was no threat.
Yeah.
And still you're saying doxing this person
And here's
is
the
okay?
thing. Don't concede that ground. I don't care if she did. In other words, let's say she did say, you're surrounded. Yeah, you know what? You guys would make good speed bumps. Out of my way. It wouldn't. Okay. They're surrounding the car. How many people have been pulled from their car? Had their door ripped from, not ripped from the hinges. I mean, it's not the whole, but you get the point. The door was unlocked. Lock your doors. Opened. People pulled out in Portland, beaten up. What? People have the right to say mean things. She has the right to say,
of course.
yeah, I think you'd make a good speed bump. Make a very large speed bump, but the point is, you'd make a speed. But she didn't even say that. The standard of perfection is so high for people like Bettinger. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do.
And it gets worse when you see the university's reaction as well.
Right. Here's a key fact, obviously, number 2, which brings us to the whole thing was a verifiable lie. Now, let me tell you, because this is something that, again, the media is not covering, and Morgan's life is still ruined. So in June 2021, a separate investigation by UVA's, I need to read this right, Office for Equal Opportunity and Civil Rights, the
Sounds
EOCR.
terrible.
I already don't like it. But they said not only found that Bettinger didn't legally harass Bryant, but it painted a picture of just how shaky Bryant's allegations were.
Yeah.
At least 4 of the 5 allegations by Bryant against Bettinger were deemed to be completely false.
Lies.
Bettinger, to be clear, was heard on the tape. Here's what also matters, right? When there are moments that Bettinger speaks, you can hear what she's saying.
So she
didn't say what they said she said, but then when they go unintelligible, they insert it and say that's what she was saying. She was going to come and she was going to burn a cross in my yard, and I was like, "What? You better not! You better not!" And she was like, "I is." Like that's all under unintelligible. Hey, you damn right.
That's a lot of unintelligible. By the way, they don't have her Bettinger's statement originally on this. They don't have that on tape, what she said originally that she's going to quote here. They don't even have that.
No.
That's just what people said next.
Right.
That's
But she is only heard on the tapes mentioning speed bumps in one comment. Okay? And the comment is, it's a good thing you are here because otherwise these people would have been speed bumps.
Yes.
Referring to someone else, Good Samaritan.
Well, it was a city worker.
City worker.
She drove up to
a truck driver, by the way, who was blocking the road.
He drove up to an intersection that was blocked by a city truck, but it was only partially blocked. And so she thought, okay, well, maybe he's doing some work right there and they're using the truck as cover. And so she slows down. She goes around. She gets to the end of a block and she sees people in the road. So she pulls over and parks and gets out of her car to see what's going on. She's kind of confused. She's like, I have no idea what's happening here. Gets back in her car, but doesn't have enough room to turn around and starts reversing. And that's when the crowd starts coming after her. What she did is she went over to the truck driver and said, hey, I'm glad that you are here. Otherwise, these people would become speed bumps.
In other words, I'm glad you're here. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to know and would have accidentally run over people. Thank God I didn't.
Right.
Is that a reason for a life to be ruined? Is that a reason for a law degree to just be put on hold, potentially never pursued? Genuinely. It could happen to any of you. It could happen to any one of you. You think Morgan Bettinger expected this? Comment below.
No.
So she's completely reinstated, Gerald, as a senior at UVA Law School.
So she was, but with those, so the things that we read off her, she had to go through that training. So the student body has kind of this justice council, essentially, that goes through this process. Here's the terrifying part to this. It's made up of students. They've all heard that she's a racist. Yeah. They've all heard that she said people should be speed bumps, right? That lie.
And considering there's a diverse, it's Lord of the Black Flies.
It pretty much is. Her lawyer said that there are instructions that the university gives specifically to the council to make sure that they don't come back with the wrong decision, because that can actually, because UVA is a state university, it's the state imposing their will on your right to free speech, and there's some legal ramifications to that. They didn't give the right kind of instructions for this. They left it open, and the students said, we agree that you said what you think you said to the driver, but you should have known using the word speed bumps was going to be a threat. I'm not even kidding. We agree with the situation as you have explained it to us.
Right.
But you're still in the wrong.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Well, it's totally believable, but I understand what you're saying.
It shouldn't be possible.
And by the
Is
way,
she back in school or not?
She went to school. She graduated from there,
Okay,
but now
good.
she works a job in Charlottesville because no law school is really wanting to take her, and she doesn't disclose where she lives because she has fear that she will be railroaded again.
yeah. And you know what happens? Good people don't want to be included for commentary very often, right? It's really, this is what you notice. It's really easy to find people who are clamoring for fame, people who weren't there, people who didn't hear it, disgruntled employees, former friends, former lovers. This is always what you hear with Donald Trump, right? It's someone who was a former lover, someone who he had sex with once or a relationship gone sour. This happens all the time. Or they bring out someone who says, "Oh, he ruined my condo and I was a black guy." They don't bring out people who have worked with him forever. They don't bring out the people who were actually there. They don't actually take into account when it's a tribunal, the truck driver who heard exactly what was said, the equal opportunity and civil rights office, by the way, of the school, which is a silly name and it's a stupid thing, even found that Bryant couldn't have heard the comments firsthand. Okay? So the allegations are false. They acknowledged it, and there's no way Bryant could have heard it firsthand, which, by the way, puts a different context. What that means is that Bryant lied.
Yes.
What that means is when Bryant said, "You said we're going to be speed bumps," right? We know she could have never heard that. Right. It's not possible, which means she was lying at that moment in time. Run a camera. I'm going to say something. I'm going to be famous. Which, by the way, has happened in my own life. I've had people turn on cameras when I'm picking up. Remember at CVS the one time? Turn on the camera. Yeah. What about Vox? You want to call someone? And I just go, "Thank you. Have a nice day." Because they want to put you. They want to put you on. I don't want to say World Star, but they want to put you on TikTok. Happens all the time. You just go, "Okay, hey, have a nice day." Things that you would never accept in your day-to-day life. I'm going to be famous. What'd you say? You say you want us to be speed bumps? How scared do you think that woman is surrounded right now? You think she's seen a video of Reginald Denny? You think she thinks that there's going to be anyone willing to risk their neck for a white girl in a car who everyone else is accusing of being a racist? Just to note, all of these findings were in June of 2021. That's key. Okay? Yes. June of 2021. Because even after the closest thing you get to court, which is this weird tribunal in school that is stupid, but that's the closest thing that you'd have to justice. Even by those standards, okay, we now already know the truth. Morgan didn't do it. It's not possible.
Right.
That's June 2021. July 2021, Washington Post wrote a glowing profile piece on Bryant anyway, titled "The Girl Who Brought Down a Statue." How about the girl who lied and ruined someone else's life?
Liar, whore, and you know it.
That would not sign off on that, Yakuza, but... So
he's been sitting on it.
And then in September 2022, again, keep in mind, we know beyond any shadow of a doubt that Xana Bryant lied. That video was false. Ebony Magazine listed Bryant on its Power 100 list, took up 4 spots.
I thought it was the Power Lifter 100 list.
Yeah. Strange Brady Bunch quadrant.
2,000 total club.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, after all of this, after that report comes out, the president, I believe it's the president, it was one of the administrators at the very top. It could have been a provost or something like that, maybe a different name. But the president of UVA says that he's not going to overturn what happened in the council meeting, essentially, and not come out and say anything about this. And not issue a report exonerating this person. And by the way, how much do you think it helped her to comment on this? Bennett, right? Morgan, I think her last name was Bennett. Right?
Bettinger.
Bettinger, thank you. Morgan Bettinger, when they came to her for comment, how do you think they cared?
Right.
Do you think they cared in the article? Was the headline still the same?
They came to, here's the kind of thing they do. They go to Morgan Bettinger for comment and say, "Do you apologize for referring to these people as speed bumps?"
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Part of that is true. In other words, if you're Morgan Bettinger, you'd have to answer, well, hold on a second. I said to a truck driver, "Thank God you were here. Otherwise, these people could have been speed bumps because I'm so glad that I didn't accidentally run them over." So you did refer to them as speed bumps. Thank you. Exactly. And they go off with a quote.
Exactly. This is dishonest reporting, even
after
it's been proven false. But these news organizations, these journalists, are so quick to just run with stories. And it doesn't matter. She wouldn't have been served at all by commenting on this because they would have just painted her as the racist UVA student as they did.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.